Yo, it's Wednesday, GunSlingerz, and we're talking all friends, Ødegaard, Aouar, or Maddison. Who do we want? Let's discuss. Yo, yes, it's Wednesday. It's your boy Canners here, and welcome to another edition of GunSlingerz. And today, last week was a mass really going on about three attacking midfielders who are now heavily linked with us, and we're going to discuss who we want: Maddison, Aouar, Ødegaard. And today, we've got James. James, how you doing, bro, man? It's good to have you back again.
What's good, boss? What's good? I'm really good.
Love that, love that. GunnerKing, how you been, sir? You've been busy on them socials, causing all havoc, no doubt.
Oh, of course, no doubt. Absolutely, yeah. Rattling some cages, rustling some feathers. Like in the whole thing today, man. Tottenham fans are, United fans talking rubbish about, if Varane costs 32 million, why does Ben White cost 50? Shut up. Shut up.
That's just what our boy GunnerKing's about, boy. He'll just fish all day for you. He'll fish all day for you. He'll bring you out. He'll draw you out. Gumsa, how you doing, sir? What's happening? What's good?
I'm all right. Just here, innit? Just here, living life. Real King's born on the 28th of July, so
One birthday, boy.
ESR, my birthday brother, ESR. So yeah, boy, living life.
Love
all
that.
good, thank you.
Bless, wicked. And our boy from One Touch TV, the Nigerian Englishman. How you doing, sir? What's happening? What's good?
Oh yeah, now since we're partying though.
Oh.
Yeah.
I never knew about you so well. My money make a difference.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Bring that flavor.
What a piece of love.
Hey,
Bring it.
birthday boy, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. We have a special one for you today, then, isn't it?
For sure.
I'm repping.
So look, listen. A lot of news coming out the past week or so about us needing a new attacking midfielder. And obviously the three names that have been heavily linked with us, Maddison, Aouar, and Ødegaard. Ødegaard really has just come back into the fold again. I think Real Madrid is saying that they're open actually to offers for him, and he's also thinking about coming back as well. So look, listen, I just want to give your have your first thoughts basically on the three players and really how they fit in. Which one will be the best fit, and could we see us getting more than the one, maybe two? Is that being greedy, or just the one, basically? I mean, listen, I'm going to come to you first, King, because I know you've been speaking a lot about this, basically, in your socials and stuff. So who is your favorite? Who is the most realistic for you? And why would you see him fitting into our team?
Okay, so I think I'll go with the most realistic first. I think it's Aouar. At the moment, I think he's been holding out for a club with European football to go in for him, which doesn't seem to be for we, especially. Were quoted 50 million euros last season. Seems like a relative steal. So you would have thought that someone would have snapped him up already, which hasn't happened. I think the fact that we have been interested before in him as early as last season. We've been scouting him previously for a long time before that. I think that puts us in better stead in terms of other clubs just coming in for him circumstantially because they couldn't secure who their top target was. He's been a top target for Arteta from day one, basically. And I think his price, you know, sort of puts him within the range that we're able to do business in. So I think he's the most realistic. He's one of 2 targets I think we should get. I think we should get 2 targets, and I'll get to that in a minute. But the one that I do want is Maddison. And I'll get into why I want Maddison first. He's a goal scorer. Of the 3, he has the most proven goal scoring record for a midfielder. I think we only got like 2 or 3 goals from like midfield in either the Premier League or all competitions last season.
Yeah,
it really wasn't many. So
yeah, it was being the Prem.
Yeah,
we need to take that burden away from the strikers, you know, to be able to chip in with goals. And Maddison has proven himself not only you know, at a good level in this league, you know, to be a chance creator, but also a final action kind of, you know, a rounding off of chances kind of player as well. So I think we need that. I think as well, his experience in terms of his age, being 24, just turning 25, I think, and I've said it on countless streams, I think our young attacking midfielders in Saka, ESR and Martinelli need a leader, someone that they can look up to, someone that they can aspire to, a role model that plays in their position. And I think he's perfect for that, especially for Saka and ESR, being English as well. Mm. And yeah, I just think the fans need that as well. You know, like the fans, I think of the 3 signings, he's the one we'd be the most united on. He's the one that would create the most furore. I think the other 2, there is a split and there is a divide in the fan base between, you know, sort of who thinks which would be better or who should come. But I don't think anyone would argue or dispute getting Maddison being a great signing. And I think the fans at the moment need to be brought together by something. You know, off of the pitch, the fans need something to get behind the players with. And I think being united on making a signing of that stature, making that sort of statement, unites the fans in a way that the other 2 can't. So look, I think we should get Maddison and Aouar. Yeah. In terms of why we need 2, the relative age of the other 3 attacking midfielders is young. Yeah. They're still relatively inexperienced. You know, Saka's got like 58 games to his career. ESR's only broke out last season. You know, like Martinelli has been in and out of the squad and is recovering from an injury. He's going to the Olympics, or he's at the Olympics at the moment, where he's doing very well, but he's going to come back and need rest. I also think Martinelli, I see him as eventually becoming a number 9, and also being able to play more games up front, either as a lone striker or in a 2-striker system. So I don't think that you'll create a squad management issue by bringing 2 of them in. And I think the experience again of Aouar to go with Maddison, you know, adds to that kind of leadership rank amongst those creative players.
No, do you know what? What you've just pretty much outlined there is pretty much spot on. That's the thing, though. I think we do need 2, but I don't think if we get Maddison, I just don't think it will be another. If Maddison comes in, that will be it for a Cam, in my opinion. James, I'm going to come to you. But first off, Reese, happy birthday to you. That's for you. Gumsa.
Love, brother.
Yes. Arsenal. How you doing, sir? Good evening. Good evening to you, sir, man. I hope you're good. And Reese, again, he's pretty much going on from what GunnerKing has said. I feel Maddison would be the best fit. He knows the league, and I feel he's proven. Ødegaard didn't have the best loan season with us, but he did manage to take some pressure off Smith Rowe. I believe that. I mean, the thing is, one thing I would say in defense of Ødegaard is the fact that, number 1, he's coming to a new league. Number 2, he's coming in January. And it's very hard to assimilate and get into the, you know, where everybody's pretty much, you know, he hardly played. as well. So he's having to hit the ground running, make sure. And I think I think quite soon after, did he come with an injury? Did he come
injured? Yeah,
he got injured quite soon after. So he was a bit interrupted. But listen, I think that what Ødegaard's got in his favour is that he was with us. Arteta absolutely loves him. I think if Real Madrid didn't mess about, I think he would have been our player by now, to be honest. But yeah, that's yeah, it's a tricky one. G Talks Arsenal again. How you doing, sir? Maddison needs to be the cam that comes in. I think, yeah, but he is the one, isn't it? Really, that we really want to get in it. That would be the absolute marquee signing. That would mean that we're going places and we actually got some absolute ambition. And Reese again, I believe we could get Aouar as well as either of these guys that Arsenal decide to choose. He can play as a CM as well as a cam, and he offers Arsenal something different. He does. And
on the left as well, by the way.
That's exactly what I was just going to say, King, is that, do you know what I mean? Is that he can he can also play on, he actually does gravitate to that left-hand side of the pitch. And G Talks, Arsenal out of the three, or Maddison. I just don't think we would get Maddison and the other. I'd love that, but Maddison will be 60, 70 plus, right? And then Aouar will be another 20, and that's a huge outlay. But James, I wanted to come to you, and that's the thing I was going to ask. If we, what about Ødegaard and Aouar?
That's fine, either or, but we need two. I don't mind what combination of the two, either Aouar Ødegaard or Aouar Maddison. I prefer Aouar Maddison, but we need two. Like, the difference between our squad and the top squads is we don't score, right? Yeah. We do from Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Pepe, right? But you nullify those three, then we're like, okay, well, we're going to draw, we're going to lose the game. I think like in total stats, in terms of goals, we scored like 5 goals, like 2 from Ødegaard, 2 from Smith Rowe, and then maybe I think it was 1 from El Neni or something like that. The goals were really low, right?
Yeah.
And bringing in those two, I like the Aouar and the Maddison, those 2 players to come in, because they just fix our squad and they add that goal scoring ability. I mean, James Maddison scored 8 last year in the Prem, and Aouar scored 7 in Ligue 1, right? So that's instantly 15 goals, and we bring Joe Willock in, that's another 8, so that's 23 goals, right?
Yeah.
That's like 4 times our goals from midfield, and it just solves so many issues for me. And it's, as I said, it's not just one, it has to be 2, because we need the strength in midfield.
Could you see Arsenal actually getting Maddison and another?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have depends on who you believe. Do we have the funds? Maybe. Do we have the assets to sell to generate the funds? Yes. Yeah. It's just dependent on how we sell. I don't know. We can't, in the nicest way possible, we can't fuck around this summer. Like, I was really optimistic when we were like, right, we signed Tavares, we signed Lokonga, right? And then the Ben White links. And I was like, okay, look, we're progressing. And then the Ben White links was just dragged out. Like, we've been trying to buy Ben White for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, right? So it's just
it's kind of like we was up here, and now we're coming
on cloud. Like, I'm not saying cloud, but we were like, right, okay,
medical today. It's gone. It's done, guys.
It is done, but you know what? I think things that we was riding that crest of the wave, basically, where things look like, we're in motion, things getting done. The whole Maddison thing was coming out, and then it's all kind of slowed down. Nigerian Englishman, I want to come to you, right? And my question to you, right, is basically, right, if as much as Aouar was coveted last season, right, by us, but eventually we got Partey. If he was going to come to us, wouldn't he be with us now? But I mean, the same question though. Who would you? What combination or what player would you like to come in?
First of all, to intro, when it comes to mood and being an Arsenal fan, the best way to describe my mood is beige. I'm a beige fan, beige, because I'm like, I don't get too excited. I don't get upset when we. I just know my team in it. I don't get caught up in the hype of these stories linked with that guy, that guy. This is the same team that we've been getting linked with players for years. I remember seeing on Teletext, gossip column that we were linked with Roberto Baggio in like the 90s.
Oh my God.
So all these links are not new to me, bruv. All this thing, I'm not getting caught in this anymore. That's number one. Number two, this is gonna be maybe an unpopular opinion. I never wanted Aouar, if I'm honest, and not because of him as I don't know, maybe because of him as a player. But look, I started the Aouar train because everyone else was talking Aouar. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say I studied him like he was this, that. No, I jumped on the bandwagon because we needed a number 10. He was a creative player that everyone was talking about. I was like, well, we might as well sign him if we're gonna sign someone. But when I break it down, he's not had the best of years. You could say some could say Leon didn't have the best of years in general, but in a way, like even though the whole team didn't have the best of years, like maybe we should be questioning something like his mentality, like because the team is dropping or you didn't get the move you wanted, you sold, threw the toys out the pram. That's maybe number one. So I don't know about this Aouar thing. I'd personally, if we're gonna get two, I'd prefer Neves and Maddison, if I'm honest, because I know what I'm getting with Neves in the Premiership. I know he's gonna give me long range shooting. I know he's a deep line midfielder, and I know he's gonna take the game at the scruff of the neck because he came to Wolves in the Championship, not the Premiership, the Championship, the hard, rough and rugged Championship. But he stayed and he stuck it out. So I prefer Neves and Maddison personally. The whole Ødegaard thing, though, it just depends what we're trying to do here. Like, if we're to get Ødegaard instead of a Maddison, what that means to me is that means ESR is going to have more chances to play as the number 10 if Ødegaard comes in instead of Maddison.
Why would you say that?
This is why, because I think, personally, I think Smith Rowe is better than Ødegaard, if you ask me. For me, right now, he's better than Ødegaard for me. I'm not saying for 2-3 years from now. I think maybe Ødegaard has a higher ceiling personally, but Smith Rowe currently is better than and he showed that last season for me. So I believe they'd battle it out for that number 10 more than like a Maddison. Maddison, I believe, would force Smith Rowe to be a better player. It'd force him like, what? Right. They're buying a big boy number 10. I'm on my toes. If they sign Ødegaard, he's like, this is my boy from last season, man. I've got this guy, man. Calm.
Yeah.
And he could turn into maybe another Iwobi or Coquelin that because we gave them too much responsibility too early, they didn't excel. Do you get what I'm saying? And I don't want that for Smith Rowe. So personally, I want Maddison and Neves as our two. And I agree we need two, but those are my two personally. And I'd pick Sabitzer before I'd go for Ødegaard personally.
Wow.
Can I just say quickly, when I said we should get two, that didn't mean that we shouldn't then get a deeper line midfielder as well. I personally think that's what we need. We need three midfielders, right? So we need a deeper lying one. We need a deeper lying one and two creatives. It's not an either or thing. Look,
I
agree. If you think that I'd be happy,
three midfielders, you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you think I'd be happy with us throwing the Congo to the Wolves and just telling him play, okay, he played well again today and he's done well so far in pre-season. You must be mad. To get rid of Xhaka and put Lokonga there and expect him to cook straight away, I'd expect Lokonga to be understudying a more proven midfielder. And these creatives that I've just named, the three, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, and Saka, I'd expect those guys to be kind of learning and shadowing like the two creatives that I've just named. So I just wanted to clear that.
I'm with you. I definitely think we need three, but my three would be Bissouma, Neves, and Maddison.
I think the problem we do if we go with too heavy is you're limiting so much game time for some players where actually it'd be counterproductive. That's my personal opinion. So I do hear what you're saying with I don't want Lokonga to start as my central midfielder. He is one for the future and he is one that it's going to take time. A bit like Martinelli, where you can see there's a player there, but actually take your time and you breed them in. So to me, he's understudied to Partey. so that's not an issue. That's his role. I'm with Nigerian on actually, depending how you want to play it. If you bring in a Neves or a Locatelli, they now play next to Partey, and then you now talk about that number 10.
But that's
so if we was to say, yeah. But again, so I'm not against Aouar coming in or Maddison, but I feel they then, if you're bringing in two of them, so just say you said Aouar and Maddison, one of them plays as your 8 next to Partey, and one of them plays as your 10. To bring both of them in to play in that attacking lineup, that means if you start, let's say you started with Maddison, Aouar, and Pepe, that means you're now talking Smith Rowe and Saka are getting 15, 20 minutes. And remember, we've only got one game a week. We ain't got Europe where you're saying we can rotate. So you're now talking, some of our players are playing, do you know what I mean, limited minutes. So for me,
that's the whole point. That's what I mean. Like, I think, respectfully, like in 2 seasons, we finished 8th. Like, we need to be ruthless. Like, these young players. These young players are young players. Yeah. Like,
but also these young players haven't been the problem.
What they do understand is, for the better of the club, right, to get where we need to get to, we need to add quality and depth. Like, it's all well and good only having one game a week, but like, we can't, like, what's the problem with Saka and ESR, is you can't put this pressure, this amount of pressure to get us out of the trenches that we are in. Saying that. You can't put that on them. Like, you need to bring more established players in to shoulder that burden with them.
Yeah, 100%. But at the same time, if you're now turning around and I'm saying I was top 5 2 years ago at 17, last year I was player of the season, now I'm starting 8 to 10 games, you think I'm sitting there and having that?
It won't be 8 to 10 games.
If you overload that area, so you've got getting Martinelli, Maddison, Aouar, Smith Rowe, Pepe, and Saka, plus Aubameyang, if he has to play wide sometimes, if we bring another striker in, you're now talking 7-8 players for 3 positions, and we're only playing 1 game a week unless it's League Cup, because FA Cup normally falls on a Saturday anyway. So you're talking.
My counter to that would be as well, you need to be able to switch between systems. So not every system is going to dictate a 4-3-3 being applicable.
100%.
Not everyone's going to do a 4-2-3-1. So
but it's still 11 players. It's still 11 players, and you're still talking. So again, I agree with a Reece Nelson. Reece Nelson would be happy with that.
So Gumsa. So
we're talking about Bukayo Saka, who was player of the season.
Hold on one sec. So I want to come to you, Gumsa, because I want to show you guys something. First, before I do come to you, Gumsa, as well, to kind of like pretty much may aid your argument, may kind of
and
I don't know, assist your
let me respond to Gumsa after this.
Yeah, but first and foremost, what I want to do is get through a couple of the chats that have come in. And Reece, again, he from what James said, he 100% agree with James. Our midfield is very defensive, and we need to bring in 2 attacking-minded midfielders and play them both together. I think, does that mean then that someone like Partey plays at the bottom of the triangle and we have 2? No, not sure.
Nah, I mean, it's just right. The way I see it is, if you're talking about limiting players, right? If we're adding 2, let's be honest, right? I'd rather have that problem of stifling a player than not having that problem. It's like the top squads, right? We've been so short as Arsenal fans in terms of good players in our squad, where we go from, right, this is our 11 to, oh, fuck, who do we have off the bench? El Neni, right? Like, come on, the levels between Partey and El Neni is mad.
It's ridiculous. Did you see the goal we conceded?
Like, to be honest, right? If it's the choice of having Emil Smith Rowe play 20 minutes and having Aouar starting but having ESR on the bench, I'm taking that every day of the week. And for me, if you're bringing those people in, it's still not stifling positions, because if you're maybe this season, right? I kind of agree with you, Gumsa, when you say people like Emil Smith Rowe might get stifled a little bit because he's going to be the main player that's been affected by the midfielders bringing in. I don't agree with the Saka point, because Saka's going to be starting he's
regardless,
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, competition-wise, you're talking about Pepe, Aouar, that kind of thing, right? but it's just about transitioning into a period of where we want to be in European football. So then when we are in Europe, we no longer have that problem because we have the games to manage the squad. And for that's what we need to be. And especially if we're being honest, we're signing these players for a project that's going to be 5 years in the future. Aubameyang is going to be here for maybe 2 seasons. Lacazette's here for 1. Yeah. So those players that are going to be causing the issues of the young players are going to be gone in the short term. So for me, it still has to be 2, regardless of what way you look at it.
And then again, as we were saying, then Martinelli moves up top, where those guys vacate. That leaves a void in midfield, which they take up. Smith Rowe can also play on the left as well. And you saw last season there were some games, like for example the home game against Tottenham, he was on the left. There was some games where he was a 10. There was even some, the Villarreal one, which didn't work with the false 9. But in that system, he actually played as an 8. So with that versatility with Saka and ESR, and with Martinelli either being able to play on the wing or up top, you utilize that versatility to move them around the pitch to make sure they're still getting more game time than they would just be waiting, from just waiting to fill one position, either as a star or as a sub.
Okay, I agree with what you lot are saying. Don't get me wrong. I just feel there's a time to sometimes overstock the squad, and at this moment, I do hear what you're saying. We are trying to push to get back to a level we need to be, but equally, for me, I'm with you. I'm happy to sign 2 of them and play one of them deeper. So just say Maddison's already come out and said he likes to play as an 8. So actually, if you've said Maddison and Partey next to each other with Aouar or Ødegaard in front, I've got no issues, because then I know, even if I say, right, Saka, Ødegaard, and Pepe is my starting 3, then Smith Rowe becomes back up to all of them 3. So whenever one of them comes out, Smith Rowe comes in. That to me is a nice balance. And he's still got Martinelli. That then going to give them 2 equally 25, 30 minutes a game. If we now sign another player in that position, or just say you brought in Neves and you still had Aouar and Maddison, all of a sudden you've only got 3 subs a game. So now if Tierney has to come off and Martinelli comes on, then actually Saka now might not, or whoever it is, Smith Rowe might not get the minutes because your striker might come on. So this is what I'm saying about just getting the balance right. It'd be interesting for me. So I'm happy, do you know what I mean, that we're linked with these players. Again, I would like to see Maddison. I think for me, I agree with GunnerKing where he says actually Maddison probably is the one which will unite the fan base.
Yeah, 100%.
I think Ødegaard gets a bit of a bad rep for last year. I think he was pretty good. What Ødegaard gives you, which the others don't
get me
is
wrong,
Ødegaard can unlock with a pass, whereas I think the others more unlock with driving. I think Maddison he can pass. Maddison can pass, but I think Ødegaard, and again, I think it was at the Crystal Palace game where they equalised. Ødegaard come on with one over the top for Martinelli. It just, I think that's the difference with him. Yeah. However, I think Maddison would suit Smith Rowe more, because I think when Ødegaard played, Ødegaard stayed in the 10 and Smith Rowe got put elsewhere. Yeah. And I think actually with Maddison, I think Maddison's equally happy going out. So now Smith Rowe and him can, and again, between them front boys, they can interchange. So
and just to like come on the back of that is basically my thing with Smith Rowe, right? Is he's gonna be a world-class number 10, yeah. That's my thing. So I don't want to make it easy for him to get into this team again. I don't want to make it easy. I want the same treatment as Foden got. No one sold anyone for Foden to be in the team. He had to play. He had to fight his way with the Silvers, the Bruyne, all them time.
But but the difference with Foden though is the plan was there. If we had, say, Ozil still performing, and they said, right, actually, Ozil's got 1, maybe 2 more years, and then Smith Rowe takes over. You already know the plan's in place for Foden or Smith Rowe, say.
Is he going?
Bringing in Maddison, who's what, 24, 25? Yeah. He's going to be on a 5-year contract. Smith Rowe now knows, you know, I might not get that 10 position because they're spending 60 million on this guy. Again, his competition's healthy, but I think it's getting that balance. For me, I'm looking to build around.
Go on.
Sorry, I'm looking to build. I said, I know what Gunner was saying earlier about the pressure and they were putting on them players, but actually, them 2 were the ones that reacted the best. The 2 which I had no issues with last year, there's 3 of them. Or I say 4 players, I would say had good seasons. the whole season, which Smith Rowe, Saka, I think Lacazette was good, and Tierney. Gabriel was all right, Holding was all right, but those 4, I would say, consistently gave me a 7 out of 10. So actually, I'm not worried about the pressure on them. And actually, if I could put players with them, then do you know what I mean? So I agree with, if you put Maddison in that, do you know what I mean? So I just, it's a difficult one. I agree. Go on.
Yeah, Gums, you know how the season plans out, innit? You've watched this Arsenal squad for years, just like me, and you know how it pans out. We always get a bag of injuries. So in terms of opportunities for people to play, they're gonna be there. Do you know what I'm saying? Just like James was saying earlier, Saka has to start. Everything else around that, I don't care anymore. But Saka's the guy that has to start. There's gonna be. I hope just because we're making these signings, we're not forced to play him for as many minutes and as many games as we did last season. I would like that. Same thing with a Smith Rowe. And also, we can't forget that we're losing 4 or 5 players in the African nations. So we're gonna have to have those players to fit in. That's why I picked a Neves as well, because if Partey and Bissouma go, Lokonga and Neves can come in to take that role straight away. So there's a lot of it's not officially yet, King, but I've heard about it, but it's not been officially cancelled yet. But there's been talk.
Just a few more of the chats. There's loads of chats that's coming in. I don't want to get through some of these. GT talks Arsenal. We bought a centre back for 50 million. If they don't sign 2 additional midfielders, then the summer window has to be seen as a failure, in my opinion. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Big up G Talks.
Guess who's watching? Nigerian Brown Beige Nigel. Mr. Silver Fox, how you doing? Sorry I'm late. Yeah, Maddison's your preference. Got that. K Box, Maddison or bust. And K Box, Gumsa spitting straight knowledge. And
the thing that King said about Maddison, the biggest thing that I took from that is he's literally the number 10 that will unite the fans. There will be scenes if we sign him, legit. So that is the smart move for the Cronkies.
It's the smart move. Whether or not we be priced out of that move is another question, I guess. GT talks Arsenal. Aouar plays 8, won't block Saka, Gabby, or ESR. And I agree with that 100%. Because Aouar can play in the middle, and he does gravitate also to the left-hand side.
His left wing.
Maddison can play 10 and go out wide as well.
I think the massive thing with those signings, all of them as well, is for me, if we want to be where we want to be competing for league titles, right? We have to compare ourselves to the people that are currently there. So I'm looking at City, right? And you see their players like Gundogan, De Bruyne, Foden, Rodri, Fernandinho, right? Look at how fluid those players are. You ask De Bruyne to play as a 6. He's going to play as a 6, and he's going to be incredible.
And do it. Right? I give you an 8 out of 10.
He's going to be there. And I think for me, having these players, it's not just about they're going to stifle someone's development in this position. It's the fact that their quality, so then they can play in multiple roles. We can
without disrupting
systems. And we have options, and that's the thing that we're looking at, I think, is just focusing on the quality of the players.
I think the other thing as well, right? The other thing as well is what you got to remember is, when you train with better players, you become a better player. To become a better chess player, you've got to play a smarter opponent, right? When you're training week in, week out with these quality players, when you're someone like ESR, Martinelli, and Smith Rowe, then you are raising the floor of your standards. So your application on the training pitch. A great point. Your application on the training pitch goes up, but then your attitude does as well, because you are training you're seeing what these guys are doing, and you are like, right, okay, let me try that. Yeah, let me see how that works. You're speaking to them. You're speaking it. You're working through it. Yeah,
I think Saka needs that. To be honest,
these youngsters need that. Yeah. And the last thing that I'm going to say is, look, I am not trying to be bad, because ESR, you heard me the other day, the impassioned defense that I've given of him, and I rate Saka and I rate Martinelli, and I said that this team needs to be built around those 3 players, But look at the other teams around us. They are ruthless, That is why they are where they are, When Pulisic was injured, he was playing amazingly before he got injured. Did they sit and wait for him to come back? No. Yeah, they bring in next man. Yeah, they bring in Havertz. They bring in Werner. Yeah, right. Well, it's the same thing for Callum Hudson-Odoi. It's a tough old world out there, man. Like, sorry,
we're
but
not
it's just like,
them.
this is what it is. Maybe they don't have the balance right, but who are we to argue when they won the Champions fucking League last season?
And I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
Look at Liverpool, it's the same thing. Look at Leicester, it's the same thing. Even Leicester, yeah. I
agree.
Attacking mids, you can name 2 or 3 fullbacks in both positions, both the left back and the right back position. Midfielders, they got Hamza Chowdhury, who was good until Ndidi came. Now what they've just bought Samari as well. When Tielemans, that was probably the area of the pitch they didn't need to fix. Did that stop them bringing in Samari? Did it fuck? Yeah. So look, we gotta get tough. We gotta get tough. We gotta get tough.
And I think the whole culture of
the other teams around us, the other teams around us get that. Yeah.
But also, we've had years of having like them positions there, the number 10 position. We've had problems for years because we would end up playing like Riziki right wing or left wing, so we can't fit him in the squad. And what that ends up happening is then you lose your odd player like a Gnabry who's not going to wait around. So
this is the difference. They're young players now. So
I agree with competition for players, and I agree with playing with better players. But my thing is with that is it's just being mindful, because actually the players who we said we want the team to build around, who actually carried us to 8th place, the boys will now talk about replacing. So actually, in fact, a 10 will be vital because
let me give you this example. Yeah, Greenwood, the season before last. Yeah, you remember the season before last? Him, Rashford, and Martial. They had their best season under Oli. They had their best season. So everyone's thinking they're going to go into the next season. They're going to kick on. Only really Rashford. Yeah,
Rashford didn't kick on last year.
He didn't kick on at all.
But in all competitions, he got like 28 goal involvements. He didn't do bad.
I'm not counting. I'm looking at the eye test. But yeah, carry on.
Gumsa, my point is, what he certainly didn't do was replicate the form of last season, of the season before. And young players, they do that, and to put the expectation and the burden on that they are going to maintain that standard or take it into next season and improve on it is a risk. It's calculated.
And we're covering it with those signings. I hear you.
Why risk it for a biscuit, bro?
Wow, me and Gunner agreed on something.
I do understand that, but also on the flip side,
time for risk.
But also on the flip side, you had Martial, who was firing. You bring in Ibrahimovic as the big money signing. Ibrahimovic delivered, but he's only going to give you a window of 1 or 2 years and bounce. And now Martial's head's in the mud, and he has never recovered from that. So actually, the long-term effect that's had on Martial, and the same might happen with Greenwood, could be actually more devastating. Now, if you've got
he's not trusted,
if you've got a mercenary, and if you've got a mercenary like Aouar, maybe, because again, the talk last year was Aouar was probably was done, but his brother, who's an agent, was saying they want 12 mil signing on. So it shows you kind of maybe the mentality of him, where he's looking to get money. He's already spoke about Champions League
situation, isn't it?
Yeah, he spoke about, again, if we don't make Champions League, just say we sign all them good players and we don't make Champions League, is he? And then a team comes in above. Is he going to be as loyal and say, "Yeah, I'm staying"? And all of a sudden, you might piss off ESR, who said, "I'm bouncing."
Let's go back. Let's go back.
I want to move on. I want to move on.
One more quick, Canners. Yeah, wait.
Make it quick.
Ibrahimovic training with Martial. Do you think technically that improved Martial?
No, because I'm seeing his output. I'm seeing his output. No, I'm seeing his output, and his output's never been as good. His output's never been as good.
He improved it, like the output.
No, because he hasn't shown nothing. He hasn't shown nothing. He hasn't shown anything since Ibrahimovic just left.
With Martial, what like from my conversations with United fans, most of them will say, like the reason why this wouldn't be the best example is because in terms of like the mindset and the attitude, but in terms of watching Ibrahimovic, playing with him, training with him, but he's always had that thing throughout his career.
No, but Martial's numbers were decent. If I'm Martial, you bring in a striker, you take my number, you sling me out on the left, my head's gone. Do you know what I mean? So again, you see that with Martial's numbers since then, he hasn't never recovered from that. So again, if I'm Smith Rowe, If you bring
But
him,
then-
you just give me the 10, and then you bring
But
him out and
then-
take my
all
position.
right, so that's one individual. But where are United now?
Just mute them,
So
Callum.
from 2 years, where
I'm cutting
United
this.
were to where United are now.
King, cutting you, bruh. Cutting you, bruh.
I love it.
King.
He's still going as well. Like, we can't hear him.
Stop.
Yeah,
Sorry,
what are you saying? What are you saying?
So, King,
100%.
sorry. Listen, now I want to move on because we got stuck here, right? And look, by all means, let's talk about make our point and everything. But look, we need to move on because we move way away from our question of who we want in our midfield, as a central attacking midfielder. All right, we'll move way away from that now. Let's get back. Let's draw it back in now. I've got a few more. And I want to get through all of these before anyone butts. I'm going to read out all of these, right? So a load of chat says Saka can play right or left in a front three. What we don't need is him playing it as a 10. That's not, in my opinion, where he plays best. And G-Tool's like, listen, mate, you know what? You're talking so much sense there. 100%. Saka on the right hand side is pretty much nailed on, and it's it's Saka and who else plays in that front three. KM Box. Oh, damn!
How? All right, elaborate. I want to respond, but no, I'll clap back. But I want to know what I was being disrespectful.
I'm trying to think as well because you guys are digressing so much. No,
it's because it's my birthday and you are coming at me. That's why.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Mr. Silver Fox, Maddison can cover all areas of the midfield where Aouar and Ødegaard are limited in comparison, in my opinion. I kind of get what you're saying. I thought Aouar was probably the more rounded of the three in terms of where he can play as in a two.
Let me ask you a question on the panel on that specific point. If we're losing 1-0, like 75th minute in the game, you need one of those three to take the game at the scruff of the neck. Who are you picking out in order?
Maddison.
Then
Maddison.
Then who?
Ødegaard.
Then Aouar. So that's the reason why I don't want Aouar, bro. That's why I can't see him lifting us. Everyone's playing bad and he does a moment of magic and wins us the game. I think the other two have it more than him.
Okay.
To attack that point though as well, Ødegaard's played as a second striker, on the right as an inside forward, on the left and as a number 10 and as an 8. And Aouar has practically done the same with 8, 10 and a left. So yeah, I can't disagree more with that point that Silver Fox has said. They're all versatile.
Yeah, 100%. I think
Ødegaard's the less versatile out of the lot of them. I think Aouar and Maddison can do the lot. I think
if you cover more than 3 positions, you are versatile, which Ødegaard can.
On the Don's birthday, we're talking about. Is he talking ESR there? ESL's birthday. Sure.
Oh yeah, for real.
Yeah,
it's the topic of the show.
For real, respect ESR on his birthday, big up ESR.
No, disrespect to. Wait, you guys watched Ødegaard for 5 months. For me, all I saw was a guy who's occupied Saka and Pepe's space. Do you know what he does? Move out to the right. He does move out to the right a lot. And yeah, I kind of. Yeah,
right, but this is the thing. We should all be saying Ødegaard, bro. We should be. We've seen him at our club. We've seen it at our club. So the fact that we're not saying him with chest is a big answer for you lot.
But
let's support tomorrow because I know Kidimans will be gone next summer.
So why didn't they wait until next summer?
Business.
Because you give him a year. You give him a year to get used to the league.
Yeah, but the whole point is they don't worry about the squad management issue. Because they're thinking of the longer term, they're not thinking of them now.
Well, that is squad management, isn't it?
It's the same thing. You might have missed it, Gunner, when we said about Foden. Foden knew there was a pathway, so he knew David Silva's got 1, maybe 2 years left, and I take the position. So I'm happy to sit there for that. Again, Emil Smith-Rowe might be happy to say if Ozil's here for 2 more years, I'll sit behind him because I know I'm taking over. But if Maddison and Aouar's in here, it might be a 5-year project. So.
Cool.
Look, that's the difference. That's what I'm saying. So, Samore's coming in, learning the
these
first
young
season.
players are the most prepared youth of all time. They've had the best tools any generational can handle the pressure. It's this generation. Do you know what? I agree with that. I mean, do you know what? Yes and no. What I will say is that they've got everything there for them to succeed. Everything from psychologists to sports science to nutrition to the pitches. They've got everything there. However, everyone's different, and not everyone handles, the mental side of the game in exactly the same way. So you'll get your players like your Roy Keanes, who I don't know, they make up from their technical ability with their mental ability and how they approach a game and how they get everyone around them playing.
Do you not think the reason why ESR was given a number 10 was because of this whole we're signing a number 10 this summer? Like, just so you know, you still got a future here, bro. Just because we're signing a number 10 now,
it could be a nice week.
Like, don't worry. I think that was one of the big reasons he got the actual
He's
number 10.
We need to remember these guys are 19 and 20. Saka and Smith Rowe are 19 and 20.
I think you're not taking what I'm saying a bit out of context. I'm not saying not to sign a 10. I'm agreement. James Maddison would be ideal. My thing is signing 2 because last year,
definitely
the amount of times, again, you can sign 2 if one's going to play in the 8 next to Partey, then I'm fine.
Never.
But
that's
if you sign 3 of them, that's the problem. Because last year, how many times we come on the stream, Canners, and we're moaning about Martinelli not getting enough minutes? Yeah. So now you still got to try and get him in there.
Look, Martinelli not getting minutes wasn't a squad management issue. It was a returning from injury.
But where you know that? Like, no, but part of the issue is if Saka
play more next season.
If Saka is on form again, just say in an ideal world, Saka's on form, he's starting. Pepe's on form, like Pepe started off preseason on fire, he's starting. If we sign Maddison, he's starting. We're starting with Aubameyang. Now you're talking. There's Lacazette, Martinelli, ESR, Willock still might be there, Lokonga's there, and you've got your bench with the defenders on it. So I'm saying it's just if you sign. So now imagine you now put Aouar in there as well. Imagine you now put Aouar on the bench as well.
There's going to be different matches where you need to use different systems. There's going to be cup games.
No one's disputing that. No one's disputing it. They're saying that one extra player could really throw off the development of a lot of them players. And that's what I was saying. I'm not saying not sign a 10. I'm all for Maddison. As important
as the development of these players are, the progression of the team is more important.
And they're a big part of that. They are a big part
of that. But the thing is, like, how big a part of that can they be? Yeah, like, only time will tell. And they've got plenty of time, right? And then, as James says, we get into Europe, plenty more games, plenty more time. Yeah, like, now.
Yeah. Right. Let's move on.
5
you two
is a must.
Gunner Court tomorrow, but
Gunner Court.
I'm coming for him.
Listen, I'm going to carry on, and then we're gonna actually now start wrapping up. But first off, James, no doubt, a Liverpool parody here. Take a leaf out of Klopp's book, boys. When he's asked about his thoughts on other teams, transfer business, he says he's not interested as he only plays them twice a year. Obviously, you guys going on about Man United. You can't not buy top draw players to keep current players happy. It's for the current players to step up 100%. Do you know what?
No, I agree with that.
You've got to take that as a challenge. You've got to take it as a challenge, no matter what. And in every walk of life, whatever it is, you might be in a corporate office. Someone new comes in, whatever, and there's a promotion going. You two have basically got to fight it out. You got to do what you got to do in any walks of life, really. G Talks Arsenal, how you doing, bro? Again. This is I still love the debate.
We do it every time.
You two, boy, I tell you. Hey, they'll be here next Wednesday going at it again.
Again, bro. It might be me and King next week, though. You never know.
G Talks Arsenal, Maddison all day long to win the game or have that moment. Answering your question there, Nigerian. You called KM Box out. If you're still on KM Box, James is asking the question. Please elaborate. So for several Fox, Ødegaard in the Prem now, Europe, he did hit a banger in Europe. He was good, but he scored against Tottenham as well. Any player that scores against Tottenham is do you know what I mean?
He's a legend.
Nigerian Englishman's free of Neves. Wow. If those 3 came in,
tell me there wouldn't be scenes, guys. Come on,
there'll be scenes.
M3, brother.
There will be scenes. Just on a quick side, the Basuma thing's gone all quiet, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
see
he
that
ain't
happening.
coming.
That's not
He
happening.
ain't
I think he's last choice. I think he's last choice.
Yeah.
But I think someone didn't they come out and Arteta kind of hinted he's very similar to Partey.
Have you seen
and
the
they're looking
goal he
for
scored
something
today?
different.
Who, Basuma?
Nah.
He scored an absolute screamer.
He only scores screamers, King. He only scores screamers.
Yeah.
Go and watch. Literally, go and watch his.
We'd have the best DM partnership of Armoury and Basuma just only scoring screamers once every 20 games.
Screamers.
I,
Flipping it. And G-Talks also, please don't gas up Nigerian like that. It's true, but
he's just speaking the truth. He's just speaking the truth, Silver, bro. Don't hate on him, man.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he's a legend, Silver.
Lord Bentner.
Lord Bentner.
Lord
Put some
Bentner.
respect on his name.
Oh my God. So guys, just quickly before we start wrapping up, I want to come to you first, James. If I can. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to put up all these three here. So these are Maddison's heat map. Okay. He's a true cam, isn't he, really, if you look at it like that?
Yeah, but he's
James.
he is, but like where the hole is, he's across that. If we're talking horizontally where the 10 sits, he's across all of it.
Yep. And then we're going to look at Ødegaard. That's quite telling, isn't it?
Right. That looks about right.
Also, as well, if you look at the games, the goals, and everything, and just remember he did have that injury, so he was pretty much interrupted this season.
So was Maddison, but
yeah, okay, fair dues.
That can't be right. Big chances created 0. He got like a few assists.
Missed.
Right, got you.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Aouar's big missing bare chances, bro.
But look, his heat map. He's on the left, and do you know what? I think we need someone on that side.
He's in a position of an 8 as well. If you look, he's all the way on the whole of the left side, but he has got quite a lot as where an 8 would sit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I like about that? You know how Tierney bombs on and then Xhaka
exactly.
in that
Thank
position.
you.
Where he
Gumsa, you like reading my mind, bro. Swear that.
I hear you. So that's very telling. Again, Ødegaard's the other side, which allows Pepe to go inside more. But I
want to come. Yeah. So quickly. I mean, if you want to refresh your memory again or whatever, I'm going to come to each one. If you just quickly seeing those heat maps, has that changed anything in your decision on what we need or what we require? No.
I just want to say my reasons again, right? Why I think Aouar over Ødegaard is Ødegaard's tendency is to drift on the right, and also he's a left-footed player, and we've got Saka and Pepe as left-footed players. Martinelli, I see eventually becoming a striker. ESR, I want to see playing in the centre. Whilst I'm happy for him to interchange with who is on the left, I want his starting position to be central as much as possible. So I think Aouar, what he gives is, as an 8, he drifts into that channel anyway. But for someone that drifts in the channel that much, as the heat map shows, you could start him on the left because he's already ending up there as an 8 anyway. Do you see what I mean? So I just think he brings balance. And I think he's the nailed on one because of his price and how long we've been looking at him. And then with the other two, Maddison goes across the front three. Horizontally, you saw his heat map was absolutely everywhere, like across the front three. So then what you've got is just that ability for everything to just they just flip around, they just change.
Sorry, Gunner, just quickly, where are you planning on playing Aouar? Because you said on the left, so you talking left midfield or?
Yeah, right. So basically in a 4-2-3-1, right, you could have a Partey and a Basuma, Aouar, Maddison, Saka or Pepe. And then the interchangeable positions would be the left and the 10 position. And that would like rotate depending on what position opposition you're playing. Sometimes I'd use a 4-3-3 where I could use, say, Maddison and Smith Rowe as an 8 with Partey as a deeper line midfielder, one slightly more advanced than the other. I would just mess around with 4-3-3 and 4-2-3-1. And they would all get game time. I promise you. Like
No. I heard that. So does anyone else has that maybe clouded in anyone's kind of mind or anything as to what we require or everything? No? Good. Right. Boy, so
shut that down quick.
listen. You guys do this to me. So King, Gumsa, flip sake. I love it, man. The energy is tremendous. I know Nigerian Englishman is just waiting in the wings. He's always looking to get tapped in. He's always waiting to get tapped in. He's always waiting. But look, I think from your from your, I would say, analysis and the way that we've spoken about, really and truly, the absolute nailed on what we actually need and what we actually want is a Maddison. And this is we actually did a poll earlier on our Twitter. Yeah, pretty much agree with you guys.
Yeah, that didn't surprise me.
And there's quite a good number of votes there as well, to be fair.
I'm surprised Aouar got so many, to be honest.
Aouar's decent. Don't.
Yeah,
well, I'm not saying it. Bruv, I'm not saying he's not decent, but he's just not. He's not the guy for us.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Personally, like, he's not the guy, bro. Like, okay, look, we're definitely not signing Maddison and Aouar. Let's be honest, innit? If we sign Aouar, we're not signing Maddison. If we sign Maddison,
if he was to get two out of the three, it would be Maddison and Aouar.
Yeah, I think Aouar would be part of the three because I think Ødegaard would be too much. Ødegaard and Maddison would be over 100 mil.
Yeah.
So I think you would be talking. Yeah, and I think
Gumsa, actually.
Go on.
Gums, would you rather Aouar and Maddison or Neves and Maddison?
Neves and Maddison. I think Aouar's better. I think Aouar gives you more probably going forward than Neves, but I think it's just the element of Neves knowing the league. But I think, for me, I think if we get two, Aouar for me would play in number 8 position and Maddison as your 10. But like Gunner said, you could then play a 3 of Partey, Maddison and Aouar. Or it gives you flexibility. So, but yeah, for me, Madders would be number 1.
Absolutely. So we all agree on that one. So, and I hope it happens, man. It needs to happen because shit needs to actually start moving on now. We're like, what, 3 weeks now? No, literally 2 weeks now from the start of the season, near enough. And we need to get these guys integrated. Just a couple of the chats to go through, and then we're going to wrap it up, guys. Please don't cut in. You two down there, yeah, don't cut in, yeah. keep it clean. Keep it clean. Okay, what's here at Arsenal? GT talks Arsenal. G talks Arsenal. I keep saying GT talks. G talks Arsenal.
Yeah, don't disrespect my boy.
No, I'm apologies, man. That's me, man. You guys,
that's my guy now.
you guys were killing me today, man. Flipping it, you were making me nervous. You two down the bottom. Great. Cheers, G. KO Box, hearing Arsenal lineup excluding ESR really triggers me. I actually think he's seeing him in friendlies. He looks like he's a player with presence now. He's starting now to become that, and this year will be a good proper breakout season for him. Let's hope he remains injury free. Yeah, G talks Arsenal again. Maddison heat map tells you everything, and I think he agrees with everyone there, especially yourself, King. And Ken Box, what side does the panel prefer Pepe on? I think just one word answer. Jay.
Right.
Cole on the right. You put it there already. Guys, it's been emotional, man. It's been brilliant. Flipping heck as always. GunSlingerz, man. We are out, man. I have to say, Maddison is the one we need to get in. Will we get him? Lord knows, man. Flip's sake, man. Come on, Arsenal, man. Do a madness for us.
Madness. Peace. Do a full madness. All 3 of them.